Drums will make or break a song, so unless you're in the precious few genres that don't require drums to make or break your songs, if you're not a drummer, if you don't have drums, or if you don't have a drummer, you're gonna need to figure this out. What is up, Yoshis? My name is Beth and I run Steadfast Ascent, and today I am going to be explaining to you exactly how to get drum sounds even if you don't have a drummer, even if you don't have drums, finding a way to make it work. On a scale of 1 to 10, let us know in the comments, how important are drum tracks to a successful song? Whether you're missing a set of drums, or whether you're missing a drummer, or whatever your issue is, you find yourself needing drums, and you find yourself without the means to do it, whether that's a kit or whether that's a way to record the kit. Today, I'm going to be hopefully solving that problem for you. Now, if you don't have drums and you need drums, you can do it in about 3 different ways. And the first one is the most obvious one, which is virtual drums. Virtual drums basically just means that you either use Logic and have the drummer playing, or that you find a way to use a MIDI software to create MIDI drums. Now, the thing about virtual drums that's so great is you really have a lot of control over your sound. From choosing which bass drum you're going to be playing, to the snare, to the velocity, to the intentionality, or the quantization of your drums, you can make the most perfect sounding drum kit. And if you're worried about MIDI sounding like robots, there will be a video coming, so you should like and subscribe real quick to make sure that you get a hold of that. Logic's drummer feature, where you choose a player and you choose the kit and then you just wiggle around the piece in the middle to make it sound as more aggressive or as less aggressive as you want, is also a kind of virtual drumming. Personally, I think that MIDI drums is better, but really that's because you have more control over the sound. But if you're not a drummer, having Logic's drummer feature is a really great way to get started, at least in getting drums for your song without actually having to have a drummer or any drum skills or any programming skills either, because a lot of the MIDI work that you'll be doing, unless you have a keyboard or a drum set to get the sounds into, will be a little bit tedious. When I first started, I literally had to go in and one by one place every single MIDI note that I wanted to be played on my drums. And this was back in GarageBand. I didn't have the super fancy humanize button, so I had to literally go in by hand and change every note to make it sound the way I wanted it to, so that it didn't sound like a robot was playing it. It was a lot of work. You don't have to do that much work. It is a good solution if you can't find a drummer, and almost every DAW that I've seen has built-in MIDI functionality and has built-in MIDI presets, so you don't have to spend any more money. There's plenty of great free drums on the internet that you can find in terms of getting a virtual MIDI sound. For as many free MIDI drums as there are out there, there are also a lot of really good paid ones. I use Easy Drummer's TuneTrack, Superior Drummer has really great reviews, Native Instruments has a suite. There are so many options in terms of like buying stuff, but you don't need to. What you have in your DAW really should work, but if you need and or want, I've linked some options below. Now, if the thought of virtual drums just makes you feel a little too Daft Punk, then the next best solution for you is to hire a drummer. I know you've seen the YouTube videos of actually talented people hiring bozos from Fiverr, and that's exactly an actually valid and very useful way to get drums if you don't have a drummer. You just go on to Fiverr, you find someone who plays in the style that you want, you send them all your stuff, they send you a track that is ready to mix. And if you're really worried, you can also hop on Fiverr and find useful things like mixers and masterers as well. But that costs money, and we're trying not to do that, and you may not have the budget for that. So what's a guy to do? Well, if you have any talent at drumming, or you have a friend who has talent at drumming and would be willing to do it for you, but you just lack the drum set to have them record on, you can always borrow a drum set. Now, there are several different places that you might be able to find a drum set to borrow, maybe said drummer friend, and if you're wondering how to record said drummer friend's drums, that video will also be coming. Like and subscribe. But there is probably a drum set that exists in your town that you may not have thought of yet, and that is your local church. Okay, so that might sound really scary, or it might sound like, duh, why didn't I think of that? Your local church has probably got a drum set. And if it's got a drum set, it's got all of the mics you need to be drumming on with it. You just have to find a way to get from their console into your computer. It's so great. And I don't know of a worship pastor who would be loath to lend out their drums if you ask them nicely and demonstrate responsibility. It might even help to know someone on the worship team, but hey, it never hurts to ask. It's a free drum set just sitting and waiting to be used, and you can use it. Where else might you be able to borrow drums? There's gotta be some other places. Let me know where you would borrow drums from if you needed to. Just because you don't have a drum set doesn't mean that you can't get drum sounds. And we know that drums are really important for your songs, so you've gotta find a way. Whether that's by working MIDI or using a virtual drummer like Logic's drummers, or whether that's by hiring someone out to do it for you, or whether that's by borrowing from someone who knows what they're doing, you will find a way to drum without drums. So as I have mentioned in this is going to be a part of a drumming series, and in the next couple of weeks we'll be talking about how to make your MIDI sound realistic, also how to record actual drum sets, especially if you're limited on gear. I mean, I only have one mic. Can I still record drums? Of course you can. I'll be telling you how. So go ahead, and if this video has helped you at all, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more of these videos in the coming weeks. And as always, thanks for watching.